Welcome to Dad's class.
Welcome to the podcast where I, Devin Pierce, bring you the tools of my toolbox. So whether you're a parent, going to be one, or just adulting, it is my goal to help make you better equipped for life's great adventure. Welcome to Dad's class. We are not live on Mixer today. We're actually recording on April 25th, and this is going to be coming out to you guys for May 1st. This is take 2 also, because I didn't press record. So how are you folks doing? I know everybody's still trying to get adjusted and figuring themselves out a little bit, but I hope that everyone is doing well. This past week has been a bit of this weird time warp or a strange version of reality for me where there's not enough hours in the day to get things done, but yet the days seem to last forever in the moment. It's been really strange, but it is what it is. Last class, which just came out a little bit earlier, was focused on spending time with our children as part of the Raising Responsible Children series. I literally just finished getting that uploaded to YouTube, and then I was scheduled to talk to our lovely guests here, and that's where we're at here. Ashley and Rayanne, how are you folks feeling today? And what have you been up to this past week? And just roll right on into introducing yourselves.
Well, we've just been kind of enjoying the sun and doing projects around the house, trying to keep our social distancing. I'm Rayanne, or Ray. I'm a financial advisor.
I'm Ashley. I'm a wash bay manager.
We both like bowling. I like puzzles, bingo, and skating. Ashley likes fishing. We've been together since 2006, married for 4.5 years. We have one little girl who is just above 2. And we're expecting a new little man soon.
So for more observant listeners, obviously you guys are both female. You guys are a lesbian couple. And today we're going to be talking about how the two of you got to become moms with your little girl and your soon-to-be son. And that was through this process, IUI, which intrauterine insemination, which involves a sperm donor. Well, why don't you guys go ahead and tell me how that works?
So you essentially purchase sperm through a sperm bank, and then it's just like a turkey basting process for a non-medical term.
Oh, God. It gets better every time I hear you use it describe it that way. It sounds like something my father would have said, and I kind of love it for that because it is just laying it out there. It's just so simple. But I know from having talked to you guys in the past that it is more than just a simple 2-step process. You know, it's more than just take my money and call me a turkey. How did you guys learn about what you would have to do, and when did this move from being an idea to your goal?
Well, kind of through the doctors and service providers. So you have your initial appointment with your doctor, and they refer you on to the clinic that would be doing the processes. So you have your first appointment. It's kind of like an assessment appointment where they figure out what the different processes are, if IUI is the best solution for you, why you're there for them, why you're there for that service, and then they go through different testing and what the next step is for you. So we started with the idea, which led to starting the process and having that first referral happen. It's a timely process, and I've always wanted kids, but wanted to wait till the right time when Ashley was ready.
Awesome. When we were setting things up for the show, you guys told me your reasons for choosing IUI over adoption was you were looking for the experience of pregnancy, you know, having a child that was biologically related to one of you. And you felt that adoption was a longer process that, well, it wouldn't have given you those first 2 points. But what made it the right time for you guys as a couple, and for Ashley, before you started into the process?
Well, we had bought in a home, we were just married, and it just seemed like it was the next step. We were also emotionally ready and relationship ready, per se, I guess.
You see, I myself have never prepared for a child, and both times that I tried, the stars aligned and apparently had completely different plans. So I think it's pretty cool that you guys were not only able to work that into your life and that you find that feeling of readiness before you got started. Like, that's pretty cool. I applaud you for that. Something else that came up when we were talking about all this, you guys had mentioned that the government doesn't regulate this IUI process, and the costs are kind of, at least here in Alberta, through the private clinic, and it's all on them. So what did that kind of look like for you guys?
So when we did this the first time with our daughter, at the time you could go through a private clinic or you could go through the Royal Alex in Edmonton. So at that time it was $100 processing fee every time we transferred units. So that would be units of sperm to use to the clinic. And then it was $325 for the procedure itself. Each time we purchased units of sperm, it was a separate cost ranging from anywhere from $600 to $1,200 a unit, and each unit would be one procedure, I guess you want to call it. Now that the Royal Alex is no longer doing it, the private clinic can charge whatever they want. They keep raising the fees. In the about a year, just over a year that we've been doing it at the private clinic, they've raised the fees twice now. Units still cost about the same, but the procedure is now about $600 a try. Documentation is still about $100 a pop, but you need to pay storage fees, which is just over $600 a year now also. And even if you're only transferring one unit to use, and then you like if you transfer one unit and you use it immediately, you still have to pay for a full year storage fee, even though they're not going to be storing it for more than probably a week. So it just seems like a money grab to them, and the service can sometimes not be overly the best either from experience.
Wow. The storage fee, even if you use it right away, that's a little harsh, for sure.
Yeah, I was pretty choked about that.
So, like I said, it sounds pretty pricey, but all in travel and everything else, because you couldn't do this here at home. It's 2 hours to Edmonton where you guys were doing all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, start to finish, how much did it cost you guys?
Well, it's hard to have fees all in because of the amount of travel for doctor's appointments and things like that, but for procedures and different things like procedures itself and purchasing the units, we refer to our daughter as our $5,000 baby, and this new one is going to be about our $8,000 baby.
For your sake, I hope you guys aren't trying to catch up to me with all of my children running around, because you guys are going to have to make the joke about your family being the $1 million men and women. So, looking back at it all, which I think it's hilarious that you guys can refer to your children as dollar values, by the way. How does that cost sit with you, though? Like, for those experiences that you wanted, those things that you wanted to achieve through this process, does it make it worth it?
It'll always be worth it, but the cost is a hard pill to swallow, certainly, on certain things, especially now that it's only through a private clinic, so there's no cap. It's been a long and stressful process both times, but still worth it. It was harder this last time on the two of us because we ended up having a miscarriage at one point. And because since it was Ashley and her line of work, it was harder to hide once the procedure did work as well. So that was extra difficult too.
I didn't get a chance to see Ashley wearing coveralls and being pregnant at work, but I can picture that in my mind. You know, I know that Andy had mentioned it before, but again, the both of us were so proud of Ashley for deciding that she was gonna try her hand at this. But Ash, share with the listeners what led you to make that decision for yourself.
When Ray and I went for the testing to start the process, we both got tested and the numbers came back better than Ray's, so I decided to do it. Plus, I saw how hard it was on Ray, and I didn't want her to have to go through that again, because it was rough.
Yeah. So what numbers do you guys like remember what those things were? Those numbers that they were looking at? What did that all mean for the testing and stuff?
So they test kind of like your ovulation and how good your eggs are per se, how many you have, like lots of different tests that way. So when we tested the second time, Ashley's numbers came back better than what mine did. So that was kind of one of the deciding factors she had said there.
Interesting. I'm just picturing this, like somebody sat down and did math to figure out how this all works. But can you imagine being the first person trying to figure out what that math looked like?
No, definitely not.
Again, Ashley, I think it's awesome. Like, for those who don't know us, Ashley and I have been friends pretty much since the dinosaurs were around at this point, and it's just been really cool to watch, because I know if we were to talk to 16, 17-year-old Ashley, she would have told us we were crazy if we told her she would be pregnant one day.
Pretty much.
So with that, and you guys both having experienced this for yourselves, for someone who maybe is just starting to look into this, what does the day-to-day look like for this whole process?
So I guess after the doctor's appointments and figuring out that IUI is what you're going to be going through with, you've gone through all your testing to confirm that there's nothing that would prevent you from conceiving through IUI, meaning like your eggs are good, you ovulate fine, and your fallopian tubes are not blocked anywhere. Then from there, you purchase your units, have them transferred so that they're ready for cycle day. You have to track your cycle and then figure out when approximately you would ovulate. Then once your cycle starts, you have to pee on ovulation sticks. And once they tell you that you're ovulating, then you would essentially just go in for the procedure. Then from there, you have to book follow-up blood work that would be 2 weeks later to confirm if the procedure worked and you are successfully pregnant or not, and go from there.
So, like I said, it's definitely more than just 2 steps involved. It sounds like it could be quite a while from start to finish, depending on where your body's at, right?
Yeah, it could be quite a while, because sometimes you miss your cycle date, your best ovulation date, because it's a foreign thing. You're not used to tracking your cycle. You're not used to, peeing on the sticks at the proper time of the day to make sure that it's not a faulty positive ovulation day. And so then you have to work it in with your life schedule too, right? I mean, if there's a day that, no, I physically cannot go to Edmonton for the procedure tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., well, then I guess you missed this month. Or, now you got to figure out childcare for your other child, or whatever it may be, a story so that you can be off work the next day when you were perfectly fine that day, when you left that day, right? So
from your guys' 2 experiences, what are some other points of advice you might pass along to someone who is just starting this?
Have a good support system and learn to ask questions and get specific information when you start, and follow up when you're not sure. If you don't understand terminology, you don't understand what you're supposed to be doing, or you're just someone that needs to know the ins and outs to be able to understand it better, ask those questions. Make sure that you are persistent with your doctor if they're not taking the time with you, for sure. That's a big one. Certain things need to follow a specific schedule, like testing that needs to be done, the procedure itself. You need to track your cycle, like I've talked about, and do your ovulation tests a certain way, certain time of the day. Lots of things to be cautious of. And then the procedure once you are peak ovulating, per se.
Awesome. I think, first of all, this went way faster than I thought it was going to. But I think you guys did a great job. And I want to just thank you guys for coming and talking to me about the subject and I really appreciate that. But right this second, before I go into the question of the week, I'm going to remind you and our listeners that we are doing our Extra Life fundraising for the second year in a row. And we would love for anybody who is listening to reach out, help us reach our goal for the Edmonton Celery Children's Hospital. Links are in the description as always. And again, thank you guys so very much for coming on the show this week.
Thanks for having us.
Question of the week.
All right. This week, guys, I would love to hear what you guys think about the fact that this IUI process isn't regulated financially as to its costs by our government. And with every episode, I look forward to hearing your guys' feedback. So please rate the show on your favorite podcast app, leave a review there, or on YouTube down below the bridge where all the trolls live in the comment section. Of course, you can always follow the show on Twitter at Dad's Class, at facebook.com/dadsclass. You can also email me personally, crownesso@gmail.com, CROWNESS0. I missed the second S last week's show. And you can find me on Twitter, TikTok, and Twitch with @crownesso. If you found this class informative, please share it with your friends and see what they have to say about it. And maybe we can help somebody get a little bit further steps towards achieving some goals of theirs. Question of the week, guys, I'm going to bring up a few different things that are coming up for Dad's Class. I would like to have a game night. We are going to have a Jackbox party. We're going to host it here on the Mixer channel. How this works, I'll be streaming it to the Mixer page just like I do with the show when I do the live recordings. Jackbox, just like the name Jack, box.tv, lets you connect to the games using your mobile browser on your phone and a room code for up to 8 players. There are several different options for games. There's no game date set yet, so please keep in touch with the show on our Facebook page and our Twitter accounts for more information. As soon as I pick a date for that, I will be spamming them there. Until next class, guys, be sure to review these suggested lessons and educate yourself with another Dad's Class. Thanks for listening.